Guys, welcome back to Southern Extreme TV. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Obviously, by the title of this video, you're probably expecting me to be cutting straight in to a hunting scene, and we're going to get to that. Essentially what I want to do in this video, guys, I have basically raw footage of 4 coyotes that we killed in approximately 2 hours. And this was way back in, I believe, October of last year. And I'm just now getting around to really breaking this video down. And the reason that it's in a different format and a different platform than some of my other coyote hunting videos is because I want to kind of take you guys step by step through the process of what we did to kill each of these coyotes, because each coyote was killed in a very different scenario. And it's just a really good opportunity to be able to walk through with you guys and show you exactly how we approached each set and how we adapted from set to set to adjust to what we were seeing and hearing from these coyotes. So to start off with, the first coyote that you're going to see is obviously standing in the middle of a whole bunch of cattle. And this is one of the toughest things as a predator hunter that you are going to face whenever you go out into a spot and you call in a coyote and they use the cattle to keep the call in between itself and you. Because obviously you're not going to take an unethical shot and shoot through a bunch of cattle. That's the first thing that you don't want to do as a predator hunter. You want to make sure that you're taking educated shots. And with those thermals, it can be tough sometimes. So the main thing you're going to notice here is that this coyote is running through a whole bunch of cattle. So me and my partner Anthony Guffey, we're having to sit here and essentially just watch this coyote run back and forth in and out of this cattle until we can really get a clear shot. And kind of leading up to this moment where this coyote come through this cattle, I guess a kind of a side piece that you need to know about it is this coyote was actually standing in the field while we were walking in to set up. So essentially we go in to set up, we've got a bunch of cattle down to our left, and there's a big field that kind of rises up above us on the right side of where the cattle are at. When we go up and we start getting set up, Guffey got on his thermal and started scanning. Well, he's seen a coyote all the way up on top of this hill actually coming to us. We had not even turned the call on, and matter of fact, I had not even gotten my call out of the bag yet. And Guffey starts telling me that he's seen this coyote. So all I do is I take my call and I walk it maybe 10 yards away from us. And with the coyote being in the field, I knew immediately that I probably didn't have to be too crazy aggressive to try to get this coyote to come in. So the first thing that I started playing was just a small sequence of vole squeaks. So I didn't want to be over aggressive with it and put all my eggs in one basket in case this coyote was not wanting to be that aggressive back in return. So I started out with some vole squeaks just to see if I could get this coyote to commit and come in. And unfortunately, the coyote did not come in. And without getting the coyote to come in and commit fully on those vole squeaks, we had to switch over to some howls, which is something that I really like to do this time of year. It was back in October. And we started out with what we call a pair yip howl. And essentially it just sounds like 2 coyotes that are howling. And it's a non-aggressive sound, but it's also not really laid back. It's just kind of a hyper sound, but that's not all that aggressive. And as soon as I played that call, this coyote come up out of the bottom, but he come over to the left. Now Guffey was staged on my left side and he was going to cover that side of the field. When the coyote come up through the cows, me and Guffey were both on him, and the coyote actually worked over to the right a little bit and then committed back to the left, trying to get downwind. Like I said, that field kind of went uphill and we had a crosswind going across the field. This coyote was trying to work around and get downwind of not us, but trying to get downwind of that call. Which he did not see. Well, he succeeded getting downwind of the call, but he did not get downwind of us. Obviously, we wouldn't be able to get a shot off. Well, eventually this coyote goes over to the left and just perfect as can be, comes out on Guffey's side. And the issue is on Guffey's side, he can see clearly. He can see this coyote just clear as day. There's no cows in the way. The coyote's completely out of line of sight of any cattle. And Guffey takes a good shot and kills this coyote. And I got the shot on film, but I did not get the coyote falling because I had the cows in between myself and that coyote.
Did you hit him?
Yeah.
So initially, let's break it down really short. We walk into a field, start to set up. There's a coyote already in the field. The first thing we did was not go aggressive. We went very subtle, vole squeaks, try to get the coyote to come in. If the coyote comes in, that's great. Once you shoot that coyote, you have the opportunity to then get aggressive and call in possibly a second or a third coyote to that set. Without that coyote coming in on those vole squeaks, it told me that he was not really all that interested in it. So I kicked it straight over to a pair yip-pow. Coyote come straight in, and we were able to harvest that coyote. Now, here's the backstory to the other coyotes that we killed that night. It's all off of the same property. So when we howled to get that coyote to come in, there was two different groups of coyotes lit up. One group of coyotes were not that far away from us, but they were in another field on the other side of this woodlot that we had permission to hunt. We also had a pack of coyotes light up back behind us to the left across the road in another field that we have permission to hunt as well. So what we did, instead of trying to call those coyotes from a very long distance, we went ahead and packed the call up, packed all our stuff, went down, got the coyote that Guffey shot, went back up to the truck, drove the truck around on the back side of the property and set up in the other field where we heard those coyotes howling at. We got a little bit closer to their core area, what we like to call their kitchen. I mean, we got really close to them without bumping them. When I say close to them, we were within probably 500 yards of where we heard those coyotes howling at. We get set up, and as soon as I turn on a howl, which is what I opened up my calling sequence with, was just that pair yip howl again. Since they responded to it the first time, I figured it'd be a really good thing to just follow back up with that exact same call and make that coyote think that those two coyotes that he heard, which was us, moved in a little closer into their core home area, and hopefully they got curiosity, they have enough curiosity to come in and check us out. So as soon as I played the pair yip howl, this coyote started coming, and he was a long ways away, probably 400 yards. And we had a really big dip in between us and that coyote. And that coyote come down the wood line, and we thought he was going to get a little bit closer. And Guffey actually shot this coyote, and he was a pretty good ways away. But he come in on some howls, which is really awesome. So that was coyote number 2. Now we actually called in a second coyote on this spot, and this coyote that we called in came in after we had already shot the second coyote, which was the first coyote of the second spot. This coyote come in on our blind side, on the right side of us, came in and almost ran the call over. And it's one of those deals where if you coyote hunt enough, you're gonna have this happen. You're gonna have a coyote come in on your blind side, and he's gonna do what I call buzzing the call. He's just gonna come trotting by, running by, and just blow right by your call, smell it, know that it's a call, and then he's gonna hightail it out of there. And that's essentially what we had happen here. This coyote come running by, and as soon as he got in between us and that call, I knew it was over because he crossed over our path. So I took a shot at this coyote running and completely missed. I shot one time, missed the coyote. This coyote takes off running. Guffey follows up with several shots in behind me and missed while the coyote was running. We had our opportunity to make it 5 coyotes, but unfortunately I could not connect on that running coyote there. So with that one coyote being dead on that set and Guffey shooting like crazy, we decided we were going to pack our bags, grab everything up, head over across the road where we heard that other pack of coyotes howling at. And what we did, so now we've got 2 coyotes in the truck. So once we got set up over there, we essentially did the exact same thing. These coyotes were aggressive on howls. We knew what they were wanting to hear. We had just called in 3 coyotes in a matter of an hour to hour and 15 minutes. So we knew that these coyotes were hot and heavy on the vocals that night. So when we go over, we get set up, I've got Guffey covering the left side, I'm covering the right side, and sure enough, man, I turn on this call, start howling, things kind of die down. These coyotes were not as aggressive as some of the other coyotes were that came in that night. These coyotes answered us back, and we knew that they were close. Sounded like they were possibly right over the edge of the field that we were currently hunting. So I knew we had a good chance of calling them in, but with them answering us back, I knew they weren't going to come charging in right away. So we had to coax these coyotes a little bit, answer them back with a couple different howls, but eventually one coyote broke, come running right through the middle of the field on my side. I was able to get a shot. I ejected my spent round, put another round in the chamber, and me and Guffey was kind of talking about that coyote and how everything happened. And all of a sudden, on the exact same trail that first coyote came in, there was another coyote coming in, and this coyote was running up, and I guess that coyote either smelled the blood of that other coyote, or maybe he got a little bit of a wind of us. Something just wasn't setting right with him, and this coyote was kind of trotting on up through the hill, or up on top of the hill, and was almost getting ready to get into that wood line. And I took a shot at that coyote running. So once I hit that coyote drops, and Guffey was able to put a couple follow-up shots on there, which was absolutely awesome. And in between these two coyotes coming in, essentially we started out with some howls, and then I shot my first coyote, and as soon as I shot that coyote, I switched straight over to a pup distress, which is something that I really like to do, because a lot of times these coyotes, they may know what a gunshot is, but they can't tell exactly how far away that gunshot was or where it came from. Especially with me using a suppressor, it really muffles that sound, and it disorients that coyote onto where exactly that sound was coming from, but they can still hear it, and they still know that it's something that's not supposed to be there. So as soon as somebody shoots, I love switching over to that coyote pup distress, because a lot of times that gunshot will go off, and that coyote, his senses are automatically just through the roof. He's on high alert, and as soon as he hears that pup distress, he's thinking that something bad's going on over there with his buddy, his mate, whatever it may be, another pup, a litter mate, and he's got to go check it out. So they're going to come charging in a lot of the times, and that's a great way to kill your doubles and triples. And it definitely worked out for us here in this situation, where we were able to kill 4 coyotes. We used the information that we were given with OnX. So if you guys are not familiar with OnX, it's a hunting app that shows you landowners' names, it shows you property boundaries. It is one of the best tools that I have incorporated into not just my predator hunting arsenal, but to my deer hunting, duck hunting, predator hunting, turkey hunting, you name it. OnX on my phone is the best app that I have, and I will use it from now on because I believe in it that much. So if you guys have not looked into the OnX hunting app, go check them out, because if it wasn't for that app, this hunt wouldn't have been possible. And the reason being is because, remember when I told you that when we first howled at that first spot, we heard 2 different groups of coyotes. We were able to pull OnX up and be able to tell exactly where those coyotes were at, and know that we were still on that landowner's property, and that we could move and get closer to those coyotes without trying to call them 1,500 yards away or whatever the distance is. We were able to gain ground and get a little bit closer to them. So we analyzed where those coyotes were at, the lay of the land, who owns the land, and then what those coyotes were responding to, with them responding to howls and committing very aggressively to those howls. We were able to put all that information together and process it fairly quickly, and that's a lot of what you have to do as a predator hunter, is to be able to adjust on the fly. If those coyotes are responding to a rabbit distress one night, or maybe they're responding to a vole squeak, or a group howl, or a single female howl, maybe even a single male howl, a pair yip howl in this situation, you've got to be able to analyze everything that's going on around you and put in all of these tips and all of these small tidbits of information and put it together to make a successful hunt. And this night we were fortunate, and we were able to line it up so that we put 4 coyotes in the back of the truck. Should have been 5. If I would have been shooting good, we would have had a 5th one in there. Unfortunately, it just was not our night for that number 5. But Guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope that you like this style of video. I love doing this educational type videos for you. And I know that hopefully this is a little bit better than me just sitting up here giving you guys another coyote hunting tip. I know we've been getting a lot of positive feedback on the hunting tips, on the hunting tip videos, but being able to actually walk you guys through a hunting scenario and actually let you guys see it play out in real life with a successful hunt 4 times, as a matter of fact, there was not that amount of information out there when I started predator hunting. I was basically a trial by fire. I went out there and I just hunted my butt off, and I learned all this stuff on my own. I didn't have anybody to teach me this stuff. So hopefully these videos like this will help you guys out if you're just getting into that predator hunting world. It's going to save you a lot of time and effort, and probably a lot of cuss words if you're like me. But guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button, make sure you hit that like button, and just keep up to date and just stay current with all of my videos I got coming out. Right now it's kind of a slow period with the rain and stuff that we got going on, but I promise I'm gonna try to get some more videos out for you guys coming up in the future. So again, thanks for taking time out of your busy day to hang out with me here on my channel.